So when looking towards the different myths, what got my attention was Harry Potter. I'm a huge fan, signed movie poster. So whenever somebody talks about Harry Potter, I'm going to listen. And it really got into a myth that I truly believed. Left brain and right brain, which is what we have. We have a left brain, right brain, and we're more artistic or more logical based on what side of the brain. And there are some accuracies with this. The fact that in an experiment in the 1950s, after someone was suffering from seizures, they separated the hemispheres. And as Carey put it in his book, How We Learn, he states, the implications were clear. The left hemisphere was the intellectual, the wordsmith, and it could be severed from the right side of the brain without any loss of the IQ. The right side was the artist, the visual spatial expert. The two worked together like co-pilots. Now, he asks the question, why don't we feel these two co-pilots? Why aren't these two co-pilots struggling with each other? Well, actually, in an article written by David Voyer, The Truth About Being Left-Brained or Right-Brained, he is a professor at New Brunswick in psychology. He writes that a lot of it comes with the misunderstanding of the concept of laterality, that you can only be one or the other. That is missing the main concept. So that is where a lot of the inaccuracies come from. The idea that it isn't one or the other. Because there are so many things that develop on both. One of kind of the interesting things I thought, I look back to my last car experience because it was an article written by Jeffrey Davis, Myths of Right Brain Creativity. He is actually a consultant on creativity in business. And he talked about how, left brain, buying a car for a guy. Here's the engine power. Here is how the safety reviews. But in the end, it's our emotions, our right side, that dictates, yep, this is how we rationalize getting this car. So often, these two sides really work on each other all the time. So when it comes to neuroscience and the idea that, hey, what is it that we as teachers focus on and need to focus on? Well, again, Benedict Carey had a really insightful comment where he wrote, the risk of peering too close inside the brain is that you can lose track of what is on the outside, i.e. the person. Now, when we look at people, and if we label them left brain or right brain, we are doing them a huge disservice. When we label students smart or troublemakers, putting a label on a student doesn't help them. Because a student is more than left brain, right brain, special needs. They are an individual. And that is where neuroscience is kind of a concept that teachers have a misunderstanding with. Where in the article, Neuroscience for Educators, What Are They Seeking and What Are They Finding? They interviewed some educators, gave them an Amazon card, which I think was kind of a little self-serving because probably the authors have books on Amazon, maybe. But a lot of the teachers confused educational psychology and psychological concepts with neuroscience. And I think this is something we as teachers do because we're like, the brain works this way. And there are some really valid people out there, and I think we have to look into it because in the article on learning strategies that are psychology-based, it talks about how you have to be at a certain level of development. So with Piaget and Vygotsky, that if you're not at a certain place, these concepts psychologically that you would use don't hold water. So it is really important that we do that. So as we go in, with left brain or right brain. The most important aspect of it is we're not just left or right. It is really a combination of the two, where even in what seems like a logical decision, emotion's involved. An architect, they're like, oh, this is how you space it. This is measurements. This is material. But creativity and how you put those together. So with left brain and right brain, it started me in a different path, and I went against it eventually and became a teacher. It's going to go into patent law. So that being said, thank you for listening.